So it's WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers. I've got, as I called them earlier when I was talking about this on the show, the architects of American music. I'm going to call you guys that. I mentioned that to Cooch and he's like, oh no, that's too much. No, for me, the soundtrack of my life, literally looking at the two faces of Danny Kortchmar and Waddy Wachtel. What a pleasure it is to have you guys on today.
We're very happy to be here. Thank you.
The immediate family is your band. And I want to talk about your band because I don't sort of just want this to be like, oh, you did this and you played with that. I talk about you guys being architects because you guys are not the session guys, the studio guys to me. You were the crafters of careers.
Well, we were there, certainly. we got to be involved with a lot of great people. The degree to which we crafted their careers, I don't know, that's up for grabs, but we certainly were there and we were thrilled to participate with the great artists that we work with.
Yeah. And I want to talk about a few of those. And I want to talk about, I'm going to start with the ladies because I always like to, being a lady in the rock world, I like to, honor the ladies. And I'm not going to push Linda Ronstadt aside for this, but I want to talk about two ladies, Carole King being one, Danny, who you worked with on not only Tapestry, but earlier stuff than Tapestry. And, Carol's from my neck of the woods. I live not far away from the inspiration for Pleasant Valley Sunday. So, she's always been somebody who I've gravitated towards. And when you met her and started working with her, did you know, was she the Spitfire then for you? How did you know? Because women back then, it wasn't sort of like, listen to this woman. She's an amazing songwriter. She's really got everything together. How did you guys hook up together?
Well, actually, my friend Charlie Larkey, the bass player, was a bass player, and he played in a band called The Middle Class. This is way back in the day. This is in, 67, 68, right around in there. And both bands, his band and my band, which was Flying Machine. It's a band I have with James Taylor. And Charlie brought Carol down to hear our band play and check us out. Now, I knew all about Goffin and King, Carol and her writing partner, Jerry Goffin. I knew all about them and was hugely impressed. I was thrilled to death to meet her because I knew what brilliant songwriters they were and had been following them, so I was really thrilled. And that's when I met her. And amazingly, she started calling me to come play on her songwriting demos, the demos they were making for Screen Gems Columbia, which was their publishing company at the time. Anyway, that's how kind of we got together. And that was the start of our musical relationship. Mm-hmm.
And Waddy, you, of course, with Stevie, musical director for Stevie. First time I saw you, Stevie, I guess it was 81. Most recently on the tour with the Pretenders, 2 dates on that tour. She has called you her partner in crime, said you have been as influential to her career as Lindsay was. So what was it like? Stevie's like, don't touch my songs. They're my babies. They're my life. What was it like for you and her in that partnership?
Well, it's been an inspiring relationship since we met, really. So she's very much that way. But she's done some collaborating lately, of late in the past decade. Like with Dave Stewart, she wrote a bunch of songs with Dave, and she and I have a song that we started a while ago that we might even actually get it produced the next time we get in the studio. It's a really cool little rock and roll song. But she's always been very much that way with her songs. It's not even a defense mechanism. She hears it the way she hears it, and she writes them from beginning to end. And she's the most prolific person I've come to deal with, really. She's startlingly active. She's writing all the time, and she's just an inspiring girl to be around. We met in the 70s. I played on.
You worked on Buckingham Nicks. That's right, because you went back as far with Stevie and Lindsay, as Danny did with Carole King and Jerry Goffin. So that's right. You were there from the beginning on the Buckingham Nicks record.
Yeah.
When she was cleaning houses, right? Back in the day, she tells those stories when she was cleaning houses.
She was cleaning Keith Olsen's house. Yeah.
Right.
The producer who brought us together. Yeah. She was waiting tables and cleaning Keith's place, and she was, it was so funny because she was this very, she didn't never smoked a cigarette, never had a drink. She was completely clean, very to herself. She was really great. And as soon as I heard her sing, I went, because I didn't get her writing at first at all. I really didn't. The lyrics to me were very confusing, but her vocal was amazing to me. I could hear it right away. And I gave her Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors album, which I was crazed over when I first heard Dolly. That was it for me. And when I heard Stevie, I said, "You got to hear this girl because you remind me of her. And I think you'll really like what she does." And she loved it, of course. And when we were in town doing gigs, Stevie and Lindsay and I, she was singing Coat of Many Colors, and she was singing My Blue Tear and a couple of these great Dolly tunes. And so she's always been an amazing singer. And the writing puzzled me at first, but then I got used to it. And then once we got on the road and I did one show with her, I told her after the show, I said, "I got to tell you something, and we always had this funny relationship. I said, "I got to tell you something. You were really, really good tonight." She goes, "Oh yeah, sure. Right. You really like what I do. I know you don't like what I do." I said, "No, I got to tell you, Stevie, you're a rock and roller. And I'm really so happy to be telling you that. And I don't say that lightly to anybody, but
Yeah.
you're a fucking rock and roller. I mean, you on stage, she's a monster."
Yeah, I can't picture anything too from Belladonna without you being by her side. I remember being a young lady and being out of that Belladonna tour, and you guys together are just magic. And then of course the other
Right.
people that you guys have worked with, like Danny, you and Don Henley. Um, that's a tough nut. You got Don Henley, who says, "You know what? I'm going to be a
Yeah.
solo guy. I'm going to be a solo guy, but no, I don't want anything like the Eagles, though. I don't want it to sound like the Eagles. I want to do something completely different."
Mhm.
You kind of come in, and you're sort of like the next Glenn Fry, and that's kind of a hard thing to come into to that situation with somebody like Don Henley.
I didn't find it hard at all, actually. He and I
Okay.
agreed about what it was going to be. He wanted the record to sound nothing like the Eagles, so I was the perfect guy to call for that because I don't do that. My orientation is very much the opposite of the Eagles. And he wanted stuff that sounded nothing like the Eagles, and we went in a different direction. But we had a ball with it, and we agreed on how to go with it. He and I agreed about everything in terms of how to approach a song, what tracks worked. I would sit home and make track, record some stuff in my home little demo studio. And I play it for him, and he said, "Well, I can sing to that." Then we start recording right away. Start recording the track. Next thing you know, he's got a fantastic lyric to go with it, and it was really, it was pretty easy. It was
Yeah.
relatively
Did
easy.
you know, like, as far back when you did Dirty Laundry, say,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to go back.
Yeah.
Did you know then that this is just going to be a songbook? We're going to end up being partners. Like, because I even think of Dirty Laundry and I think of, that organ and, just the construction of that song
Yeah.
is so, and that amazing guitar solo. It's such a unique song and such a chance to take, and at the time that Don, got to be so big, it was MTV time, so everybody was stylized. It was less substance. Sorry, my dogs are barking, just ignore that.
All right.
It was less, less substance and more style, and then all of a sudden you guys come in, with kind of this steamroller of great songs.
Hmm. Well, that was the idea. We wanted to, or I wanted to. I think we both wanted to achieve something with the songs. And one thing is to have a message, have them be about something, and have the songwriting part to be really good, and also have the tracks to be ass shakers. To be rock and roll, and to have a big beat, and so we would get people interested on two levels. Even if they didn't listen to the lyrics, they were gonna, we were gonna get them, like I said, with the beat. And then once they did listen to the lyrics, then we had them on that level too. So that's kind of what we were going for a lot on the first several albums.
And Waddy, your work with, whether it's Zevon or I can't imagine the expensive winos without Waddy there. Keith wanting the winos to be their complete, again, unique thing. And you just sort of bringing that to these, giant artists. What was it like to work with Warren Zevon?
Uh, well, it was always interesting. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. It was always very interesting. I met Warren when we both played for the Everly Brothers. He was the band leader I had to audition for, and we always had a oil and water kind of relationship. Although we always agreed about Merle Haggard, we always agreed about the Rolling Stones, but anything else we could find a good reason to argue about anything, musically or not musically. But as we went through the years together, he had these incredible songs, and Jackson brought me in for Warren's album, the Blue Album. I can't think of the name of it, but and I played. That's when I met Jackson, and then Jackson asked me to co-produce the next album, the Excitable Boy record, and by then Warren and I were really had a solid relationship down. Of even though he was pretty blind drunk every day, still we could get our music down, and he would write these great songs. I knew how to arrange them, and we were in Los Angeles where the best musicians in the country were. So we had a great time. Danny's on some of those tracks.
Yeah.
Russell and Leland are on those tracks. Every great player in the city is on those tracks. I mean, being here at that time was unbelievable. It was like Liverpool was for Beatles for us at that time in the early 70s. It was this explosion of music and musical harmony between people where everybody was in each other's lives, in each other's music, in each other's studios, in each other's living rooms, playing and writing and singing and just being creative all the time. It was an amazing period.
And you can feel that. I mean, you can feel that on those records. And what was different from you guys, I think, than say, like the Wrecking Crew, who were very similar. I mean, you guys were the house band for Asylum Records and all of those amazing artists, which owned the 70s. But you guys were able to shine. You guys were able to get the credit for the music that you were such a big part of. And, I think that is sort of what drove you into everybody else's consciousness as music fans. As I was a kid growing up, and I don't think I could ever hear Don Henley speak, in interviews without mentioning Danny Kortchmar. He just always mentioned your partnership, and Waddy, you were everywhere. I can still look at whether it was Don Kirshner's rock concert or Letterman or Saturday Night Live, or you were the guy that was behind everybody that I loved. So, it was certainly a big deal. So now, of course, the immediate family comes, and it's you and Leland Sklar and Russ Kunkel, another gentleman who was behind everybody, just beating on the drums. So talk to me about how you guys came together as a band. I was telling Danny, I saw the Iridium show. I guess it was 2 years ago, although
Really?
2020 is the lost year. So was it 2 years ago, 2018, 19?
It feels like 10 years ago already. Yeah.
Right. And just to see you guys singing all of those songs, it was just quite extraordinary. So what is it like now to be in your own band together?
Oh, we love it. It's the greatest. You got to remember, me, Russ and Lee and myself have been playing together for 50 years, on and off, for 50 years. Waddy is the new kid, 45 years. Yeah. So that's how long we've all been knowing each other and played together. And it sounds like it. It feels like it. There's nothing that can replace that kind of experience together. And we have, I believe, a telepathy going between all of us. There isn't a whole lot of conversation. We do go over the arrangements, of course, and work stuff out. But in terms of individual parts, everyone just falls in, and it happens very quickly. And we get to that good place really quickly because of all the time and experience we've had together. Yeah, and that's what makes it one of the reasons it makes it such a wonderful experience playing with this band.
That's the way it's been in the studios with us. So we brought that to our band. It just came along with it's part of the package.
And I love the live feel. I mean, the live feel of the new tune, You Can't Stop Progress. You still get that live feel of what you guys are all about. And who had this song? You guys had that song for a little while. That wasn't a spanking brand new song, right? Was that you, Danny?
Well, Can't Stop Progress. I started that song with my pal Stan Lynch years ago. I think quite a while ago. And then we got I had the chord changes, and we had the hook. Stanley came up with Can't Stop Progress, and we had a few lines for the chorus. And then it just lay fallow for years after that. I had no real outlet for it. I wasn't writing with Henley anymore. I didn't have a band. So I kind of didn't really think about digging in and creating it as a song and finishing it. I didn't really have the impetus to do that. But as soon as we have this band, now I do have, a great reason to work on the song some more. So I started writing lyrics, and amazingly, I was able to come up with lyrics for the thing. But then it still wasn't complete. So that's when Waddy came in, and Waddy added some beautiful chord changes and parts. He also made a great suggestion about the changing keys for the last verse. And suddenly the whole thing just fell into place and became, something that we really wanted to play. It just evolved.
Waddy comes in, Waddy strikes up the band. Waddy
sure
strikes up
That's
the
right.
band.
Exactly.
I love it. Do you think that construction of songs, these days has lost a little bit without having, that you never really hear people saying, oh, I have that pool of people I love to work with, artists. And I always go to this person, or I always go to that person. Do you think that we've lost some of that feel?
Well, I don't know what young people do. They have their own people they go to, and among young musicians, there's probably a community, and maybe they feel similar to the way we felt when we were coming up in the '70s. I don't know. I wouldn't be part of it. We're too old to be part of that situation, and we don't care. So it's really a different situation. I really don't know. And also, the way young people.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think that there is that community, that you guys were such a big part of, and everybody's sort of sharing all of those ideas and sharing all that feel and being part of each other's lives. I think we're sitting here behind a computer screen. I think that has changed things for people also. Yeah. And I don't think that, we sort of get that part of that human experience
too bad for them.
Yeah.
They're not getting it, too bad for them. There's not, a computer screen is one thing. Being with, sitting in a room with your pals and creating music together, it will never be anything that replaces that. And I feel sorry for anyone that isn't doing it, any band that isn't doing it.
And writing songs has always been, we came up learning from, everything we heard our parents listen to through the 50s of rock and roll music. And it's a traditional approach to writing a song. You've got a few minutes to say something in, and you want to find some music to support that. I mean, I told Danny this a couple, at one point I was writing a song and I played it for Warren Zevon, and I started to play it for him. He goes, "Oh yeah, what's it about?" And I went, "What?" He goes, "What's it about?" I said, "I don't know what it's about. It's music. He goes, I find it's usually better to have, something to write about." I said, "Well, that's nice, but I thought I'd just play you a little music here,
I can picture Warren Zevon saying that. I can totally picture Warren Zevon saying that.
And his point was so well taken too, but, I come to music a lot differently than that. For me, it usually starts with music of late. And because of Danny and I being able to work together, we're constantly searching for lines and titles and lines and writing down sentences. And, so that has affected me greatly in my songwriting. It's really helped me. But, I come to it, and I was really delighted to hear that Bridge Over Troubled Water was just a bunch of notes until he put those words to it. I wish Zevon was around when I learned that a couple weeks ago. I said, "Hey, Warren, how about this one?" That word either, So, but we that's how we came up. And, now I don't know how people write songs. Like Danny said, we're much too old to be asked to help anybody that young. And I think, they grab a spot here, they grab a spot here. I don't know how they do it now, but we've been very blessed and lucky to learn how to do it the way we've been doing it.
Yeah. I mean, in the soundtrack to people's lives, I don't think you guys could I don't think we could do like check marks and have enough time, for all of the effect that you've had in modern music. And talk to me about live shows, because Danny and I were speaking, before Waddy, you zoomed in, and he said everybody's been vaccinated and you guys are excited to get together as artists. And I can imagine, especially, Waddy, you're always out touring. This has had to be a strange year for you guys. I loved the Zooms that you guys did playing together. I mean, they were incredible. I'm sitting there going, wow, holy God, this is not easy to do just with everybody being in separate places. Just magnificent. But what's it going to be like to get back out and tour? You have some dates coming up for the immediate family?
We do. We have some stuff booked for November, but it's all dependent upon if the country smartens up enough to put a mask on and get a shot and try to understand that this will never go away if they don't do that. So, but we're praying that by November we can get out and start playing. And that's what we want to do. We're dying to get back on stage. I mean, and I'm so glad you came and saw our show because, you see what we do on stage. It's a ball. We have a gas.
It's awesome.
And that's the whole ticket. That's the real element. Even as I was getting into studio work, and I was so thrilled to be doing that and making all these records, you realize that records are an approximation of what it really is. And what it really is the stage performance. That's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. Even Beatles doing Sgt. Pepper, this incredible concept record, still the object is to get out on stage and perform this stuff. That's the whole deal. That's the whole ball of wax. And that's what can't wait to start doing again. And we just want to play everywhere. And
you guys have the second EP. Second EP is out. And that's super, super exciting. And man, I mean, it's been a little slice of heaven for me. I could go through everything that you guys have ever done in your careers. We would be here till the time that you tour, if we did that. But it is just such a pleasure to have you. I mean, your work has brought more joy to us than you'll probably ever know in a lifetime. And I thank you for that.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, and thank you so much for those words. Really, really terrific.
Waddy Wachtel and Danny Kortchmar, the immediate family, of course, Russ Kunkel, Leland Sklar, and Steve Postel with you guys as well. I mean, just the talent is off the charts, and I can't wait to see you guys come back to New York. And you guys, it's funny. Everybody thinks you guys, the California sound and everything. You're both New Yorkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
You're both New Yorkers.
Head to toe.
Head to toe. Head to toe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Terrie.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith, and Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway. Online at doverdodge.com.